There was no solid ground. There was no lake. Their feet were splashing and squishing through some kind of marsh in the yellow fog. This, announced Richard, is disgusting. It was seeping through his shoes, invading his socks, and making a much closer acquaintance with his toes than Richard was entirely happy with. There was a bridge ahead of them, rising up out of the marsh, and a figure dressed in black waited at the foot of the bridge. He wore the black robes of a Dominican monk. His skin was the dark brown of old mahogany. He was a tall man, and he held a wooden staff as tall as he was. Hold fast, he called. Tell me your names and your stations. I am the Lady Door, said Door. I am Portico's daughter of the House of the Ark. I am Hunter. I am her bodyguard. Richard Mayhew, said Richard. What? And you wish to pass? Richard stepped forward. Yes, we do actually. We're here for a key. The monk said nothing. He lifted his staff and pushed Richard gently in the chest with it. Richard's feet slid out from under him, and he landed in the muddy water, or, to be fractionally more accurate, the watery mud. The monk waited a few moments to see if Richard would swing up and begin to fight. Richard didn't. Hunter did. Richard pulled himself up from the mud and, mouth open, watched his first quarterstaff fight. The monk was good. He was bigger than Hunter, and Richard suspected stronger. Hunter, on the other hand, was faster than the monk. The wooden staffs clacked and whopped in the midst. The monk's staff made sudden contact with Hunter's midriff. She stumbled in the mud. He came in close, too close, as he discovered that her stumble had been a feint, and her staff slammed into him, hard and precisely, on the backs of his knees, and his legs no longer held his weight. The man tumbled into the wet mud, and Hunter rested the tip of her staff on the back of his neck. Enough, called a voice from the bridge. Hunter took a step back. She stood beside Richard and Dor once more. She had not even broken a sweat. The big monk got up from the mud. His lips was bleeding. He bowed low to Hunter, then walked to the foot of the bridge. Who are they, Brother Sable? Called the voice. The Lady Dor, Lord Portico's daughter, of the House of the Ark. Hunter, her bodyguard, and Richard Mayhewitt, their companion, said Brother Sable, through bruised lips. She bested me in fair fight, Brother Philiginus. Let them come up, said the voice. Hunter led the way up the bridge. At the apex of the bridge, another monk was waiting for them, Brother Philiginus. Now, on to the reflection question. To answer the question, I choose a lockpick as the object to the solution for the riddle. Now, a lockpick, like the one in this picture, has a crooked edge. It can open up and close the door, and it is used as long as it has a crooked edge. Otherwise, it will be discarded and replaced with a new one. Much like the riddle, which says that when I turn my head, you may go where you want. If you open a door lock with a lockpick, if you turn it once, you can go in. Turn it twice, you will lock the door. I have no face, but I live or die by my crooked teeth. If the lockpick isn't crooked, it will be discarded and replaced with a new one. It was rush hour again. A train disgorged hundreds of people onto the platform, and hundreds of others tried to get on, and Richard was down on his hands and knees, being kicked and buffeted by the commuters. Somebody stepped on his fingers, hard. He screamed shrilly and stuck his fingers into his mouth instinctively, like a burnt child. They tasted disgusting. He did not care. He could see the troll at the platform's edge, now only 10 feet away, and he crawled slowly on all fours through the crowd across the platform. People swore at him, they got in his way, they buffeted him. He had never imagined that 10 feet could be such a long distance to travel. Richard heard a high-pitched voice giggling as he crawled, and he wondered who it could belong to. It was a disturbing giggle, nasty and strange. He wondered what manner of crazy person could giggle like that. He swallowed, and the giggling stopped. And then he knew he was almost at the edge of the platform. An elderly woman stepped onto the train, and as she did so, her foot knocked the purple hair troll down into the darkness, down into the gap between the train and the platform. No, said Richard. He was still laughing, an awkward, wheezing laugh. But tears stung his eyes and spilled down on his cheeks. He rubbed his eyes with his hands, making them even sting more. Flash! The platform was deserted and dark again. He climbed to his feet and walked unsteadily. The last few feet to the edge of the platform, he could see it there, down on the tracks by the third rail. A small splash of purple, he strolled. He looked ahead of him. There were enormous posters struck to the wall on the other side of the tracks. The poster advertised credit cards and sport shoes and holidays in Cyprus. As he looked, the words on the posters twisted and mutated. New messages, and it all was one of them. Put yourself out of your misery. Be a man. Do yourself in. Have a fatal accident today. He nodded. He was talking to himself. The posters did not really say that. Yes, he was talking to himself. And it was the time that he listened. He could hear the rattling of a train not far away, coming toward the station. Richard clenched his teeth and swayed back and forth as if he were still being buffeted by commuters, although he was alone on the platform. The train was coming toward him, its headlights shining from the tunnel like the eyes of a monstrous dragon in a childhood nightmare. Now, the second reflection question. It asks about the advice that I should give to a person going through the same or similar situation as Richard is. Now, in this kind of situation, I will encourage the person to remember his or her goal. Richard wanted to go back to his life in London above. And just like Richard, everyone has a dream that they want to achieve. If I remind them of their wishes, it will help them stay focused and block all negative thoughts in order to reach their dreams. Everyone will stay positive and believe in themselves if they focus on their goals.